Today I thought I'd bring you to a different scenery. We're outside, just enjoying the beautiful weather right now in New Hampshire. It is mid-70s, which is like, ooh, like I said, Goldilocks weather. And I thought we would discuss one of my favorite pastimes, current times, hobbies, if you will, and that is memory keeping. The thing about memory keeping is it's not only to, for me, it's not only to keep memories. It is to allow myself to be more grateful in the present moment. It keeps me grounded and focused, and it gives me purpose every day and helps me think of the future with more certainty and more excitement. So it's all about the past, it's about the present, it's about the future. There are so many things that I think memory keeping helps with in my mental state. There are many ways that we keep our memories, and Joe has been a big part of that as well. Both of us, it's something that we enjoy doing together, we enjoy doing on our own, and there are also many ways that we can improve on it. One thing I will say that I hope to work on soon is just better archiving our pictures. Nowadays, with the amount of space that we have on our phones and the accessibility and the ease of being able to take a million pictures, I fail then at, kind of editing those down at the end of the day or end of the year, anything. So that is something I really need to work on. But for now, let's talk about the things that I feel like we are doing good at. I'm going to put this one aside for a second. I'll go over this one in a little bit. But one of the first ones I wanted to go over is actually one that Joe did. And it's called Chatbooks. It basically is our See You Real Soon Instagram from the very first post that we did back in, back in August of 2013, all the way until we announced that we were expecting Lee. So a lot of amazing memories in here, a lot of great captions that were able to keep and capture. One thing I enjoy about it is that in times when I maybe posted a long wordy post, there was the opportunity where you could have the caption on one side with the picture next to it on the other page. I do know it did take Joe quite a bit of time, so it is a commitment, but is one that is completely worth it if you're able to do it. The other thing I will mention is it was a little pricey in that we did use quite a few pages, but to me it really is priceless. It's one of those things where if anything were to happen to Instagram, and just for easy accessibility, and it's a nice coffee table kind of book, and that when friends come over, instead of being like, hey, can you open up our Instagram and take a look at this, they can just look at it here and really easily flip through all of them. Just so many wonderful memories. It is funny to see the progression of filters, when filters were really, the kind of funky ones were popular back in 2013, and then as we slowly kind of veered away from that. On a similar note, in regards to kind of edited photo books, we have here a book that my mother-in-law made for Lee and his Pepe. His Pepe made him his bulldozer bed. And so this is a really nice book where it's just a full progression of how Pepe made the bed from the very start all the way through painting, all the way through, and finally Lee got to see it with his Pepe, and he wrote a really nice note inside for him that he can always have. And it's funny, a lot of times when Pepe comes over, Lee does ask to read this, and this means a lot to us and to Lee. So again, another great way to keep memories. It's a great gift for others as well. My mom made me a book similar to this when we went for tea at the Taj in Boston. That was a gift I gave to her, and then in return, as kind of a thank you, she gave me the book from the pictures that we took, and I absolutely adore that. We visited family, Joe's aunt, and we made a book for her of our stay. and that I enjoyed putting together, and then of course giving to them. So a lot of great options with this as well. You can just do fully pictures, or you can add words, whatever you see fit. I know that my aunt, after every trip, does one, and she does write details inside and kind of acts as if it's a journal of sorts. So a lot of options with these as well. Bug. Okay, so a recent kind of endeavor, although I have been doing it for a couple years. Oh my gosh, this bug will not leave. Recent endeavor has been doing, using my Sprocket, which is a printer that prints pictures right from your phone. And with that, I've used a few different kind of formats. We have this, which is like a bullet journal. It is minimalist art. I got it on Amazon. I will try to link it for you. But in this case, what I did was, because it was a bullet journal, it really allowed for a lot of creativity in that I would add 1, 2, 3 pictures. I had colored markers that I then would write in with. I usually did like a caption under the pictures in black and then wrote about the day in a different color. It also could depend how much I used on each page. Typically, a day took up 1 page, but there were other days, let me see. Yep, this is January 14th. It took up 2 pages. It was a very fun day with Lee's godfather, my brother, when we went into Boston. The sad part is I did not get very far with this one. I only did it for about a month. But Lee absolutely adores it. He looks back on this a lot, and I really do hope to do it more. The one thing I would say about this that was a downfall for me is if you do feel like you may get behind easily, it's hard to then kind of skip ahead because you don't know how many pages you need, because in some cases like this, February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all only took up half a page. Of course, I could just like go ahead and do it wherever, but I always, every time I went to go back to this, even if I was like months had passed, I just kept feeling stalled because I'd want to try to catch up and start back at where I left, but then I would get overwhelmed, and then the perfectionist in me would not feel right about moving ahead to just skipping into another date. So I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't keep up with this more, but I do hope to get back to it because Lee absolutely adores it. And I'll show you a different way that I've done in the past that I actually just bought a new one to try this kind of format again. This is an Erin Condren horizontal layout life planner. And in this case, what I did was they just have the horizontal date all the way through. And so you can then fit a picture here and then write what you want here. I'm still learning ways that it can work for me, and that's what you really need to do, is for these things to be sustainable, you have to think of ways that it can work for you. So this one I did get much further. I started at January 1st, and I made it to about mid-July. This is one that Lee really enjoys as well. And again, he's always saying like, oh, what happened to the rest of the pictures? And I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy. So this one, it will be much easier to pick up. What I probably will do is still put pictures in, and if I have any memories, I will write them down, but of course they won't be quite as detailed. You'll see when you look at it, I wrote quite a bit each day. And that was another thing in my perfectionism. I actually would write out my notes in my phone, make sure it was a certain amount of word count, knowing how much would fit in here, then write it onto the page. My biggest recommendation for something like this is not to be a perfectionist. It is better just to get it done than for it to look perfect. You know, I don't think Lee in any way, if I had to scribble something out or if I ran out of space or whatever it may be, he ever would say anything. More so, he would have said, Mom, I'm so glad that you captured these memories the best that you could, and that's what's really going to matter to him. So that is, out of anything you can take away from this, if you want to capture memories, just do the best you can with the resources and the time that you have and the bandwidth that you have, and get it done. So that's this one. This is a horizontal layout. This did have January to, let me see, how far does it go? Yes, just January to December, so 1 full year. The one I've got recently, which is also Erin Condren, is horizontal, similar layout, but it is just no dates, which is kind of nice. So in this case, since I just bought it recently and it's not January, I won't be starting then. I can just pick up wherever I'd like and start putting the dates. And again, if I skip a day, I feel like nothing really happened that day, nothing I want to document, or if I missed quite a few days, I can just kind of start at a new date. So that's kind of nice that this allows even more freedom. With both of these, this one actually says 2018 on it because it has those dates. This has absolutely nothing. I did not get either of these on the actual Erin Condren site. I just got them on Amazon. So again, I think you can just look up horizontal. Actually, this one says customizable focused planner. So again, I'll try to look for the links for you for either of these. You can check it out for yourself. If you want it to be personalized, say some kind of etching like the year or something, you know, your name or your kids' names, then you would have to go, I believe, to her website to get it. But I really liked doing it off Amazon because that was not something I really cared about. I was able to use Prime, Amazon Prime shipping, and get it quickly with no shipping fees. So there we go. That's our next one. I do highly recommend the Sprocket. It is, I believe, a little on the pricey side, but again, there's one thing if there's one thing you really want to invest in, I think that is a great thing. It actually has, for the longest time, you'll actually see in my earlier iteration of the 2018 planner, I would use a glue stick and glue the back of it and then stick it on. And then like a couple months in, I realized that it was a sticker. So I could actually rip off the back and fully put it on, and it would stick very nicely. So that's another cool thing about the Sprocket, is that allows for that. There are other printers, I believe. Polaroid might have one. There are other options, so see what looks to have the best reviews. I know Sprocket has pretty good reviews. It's HP. I have had good success with it, and I've had it for quite a few years now. So back to this one. Are you more of a planner, or are you more of a reflector? Sometimes some of us, I believe, love to use planners and think ahead, where others of us kind of go by the seat of our pants and more like to reflect on what we've decided to do on a whim. So I'd love to know which one of those you are, if you're a mix of both, if you're neither, I guess. It has been a pleasure sitting outside here with you. I hope that you again get to sit out a little bit and enjoy the weather wherever you may be. I hope none of my neighbors heard me and think I'm crazy. It's too late now. I hope this video found you well. If not, I hope it was able to lift your spirits. Hope you have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you again soon. Alright, I'm gonna look at some more of these pictures. One thing I'll mention, just in looking back on this, that I realized is really special about these is that it does capture kind of the mundane and kind of at the time doesn't seem important or exciting, but in looking back you realize just how special these little moments are. And that really came to mind when kind of when COVID and the quarantine came around, because I remember just days before the pandemic came and everything fell apart, I had kind of documented one of our days in regards to how we would go grocery shopping, because as simple of a thing as that is, it was something that we really enjoyed, Lee and I, and then of course Dennis coming around and joining us later on. It was so nice to capture that, and because, you know, I think about it now, I'm not really going, and I'm definitely not going with Lee, and by the time everything goes back to normal, who knows, he may be, I know for sure it won't be the same as before, because he will be older and he'll probably feel differently about that whole experience, but I'm so glad I captured it and thought about it and just was appreciative of it every time we went, because it was just so easily taken away because of everything. Sometimes looking back on these memories can be tough because it does remind us of all the things we can't do right now, but it does remind me to be thankful.